Learning and memory are essential concepts in consumer behavior, particularly in how they influence product positioning. Learning in the context of consumer behavior refers to the process by which consumers acquire knowledge and experience regarding products and services, which influences their future purchasing decisions. There are two main types of learning. First is the behavioral learning. First is the behavioral learning. This involves a stimulus-response connection. There are two key methods. First is a classical conditioning. This is a process where a neutral stimulus, example a brand logo, becomes associated with a meaningful stimulus, satisfaction from using the product, leading the consumer to respond to the neutral stimulus the same way they would to the meaningful one. Second is the operant conditioning. Involves learning through rewards and punishments. For example, if a consumer receives a reward, like a discount or a positive experience after purchasing a product, they are more likely to buy it again. Second is the cognitive learning. This involves mental processes such as problem solving, and it emphasizes the role of knowledge and understanding. Consumers actively process information to make informed decisions. Second is the memory. Memory plays a crucial role in consumer decision-making as it helps retain information about products, brands, and experiences. Memory can be broken down into three stages. First is the encoding, the process of receiving, processing, and combining information. For instance, a catchy jingle in an advertisement helps encode the brand name in a consumer's memory. First is encoding, the process of receiving, processing, and combining information. For instance, a catchy jingle in an advertisement helps encode the brand name in a consumer's memory. Second is the storage, the retention of encoded information over time. Information can be stored in short-term memory, which is temporary, or long-term memory, which can last longer and be recalled later. Third is the retrieval, which is the process of recalling stored information when needed. Third is the retrieval. It is the process of recalling stored information when needed, such as when deciding between products in a store. Product positioning. Product positioning refers to how a brand or product is perceived in the minds of consumers relative to competing brands or products. It involves creating a distinct image and identity in the market to occupy a particular position in the consumer's memory. Product positioning relies heavily on learning and memory because learning helps consumers form associations between the brand and certain attributes such as quality, affordability, and luxury. Memory ensures that these associations are retained and retrieved when the consumer is making a purchasing decisions. Effective positioning strategies ensure that the product occupies a favorable and memorable position in the consumer's mind, which influences their choice over competitors. For example, if a brand positions itself as eco-friendly, it will use marketing strategies that highlight its sustainability practices through consistent messaging. Consumers learn to associate the brand with environmental responsibility. When consumers recall this information, it can influence their choice, especially if they value sustainability. Summary. In summary, learning and memory are critical to effective product positioning. By understanding how consumers learn and store information, brands can craft strategies that ensures their product stands out and is remembered positively when purchasing decisions are made. Memory's role in learning. Memory is the total accumulation of prior learning experiences. As this module suggests, memory is critical to learning. It consists of two interrelated components, short-term and long-term memory. These are not distinct sociological entities. Instead, short-term memory or STM or working memory is that portion of total memory that is currently activated or in use. Long-term memory or LTM is that portion of total memory devoted to permanent information storage. Short-term memory. Short-term memory has a limited capacity to store information and sensations. In fact, it is not used for storage in the usual sense of the term. STM is short-lived. Information in the working memory decays quickly. The memory span for prices, for example, is about 3.7 seconds. The short-lived nature of STM means that consumers must constantly refresh information through maintenance rehearsal or it will be lost. Long-term memory is viewed as unlimited permanent storage. It can store numerous types of information such as concepts, decision rules, processes, and affective emotional states. Marketers are particularly interested in semantic memory, which is the basic knowledge and feelings of the individual has about a concept. It represents a person's understanding of an object or event at its simplest level. Learning under high and low involvement. We have described learning as being change to the content or organization of long-term memory and behavior. In addition, we have described long-term memory in terms of schemas or associational methods. Conditioning is normally most and used to increase the chances encompasses all the mental activities of humans as they work to solve problems or cope with situations. It involves learning ideas, concepts, attitudes, and facts that contribute to our ability to reason, solve problems, and learn relationships without direct experience or reinforcement. Iconic rote learning. Learning a concept or the associations between two or more concepts in the absence of conditioning is known as iconic rote learning. Learning to generalize and differentiate. Regardless of which approach to learning is applicable in a given situation, consumers' ability to differentiate and generalize from one stimulus to another. For example, one brand to another is critical to marketers. Stimulus discrimination or differentiation refers to the process of learning to respond differently to similar but distinct stimuli. This process is critical for marketers who want consumers to perceive their brands are possessing unique and important features compared with other brands highly differentiated from the scandalized brand. Stimulus generalization, often referred to as the rub-off effect, occurs when a response to one stimulus is elicited by a similar but distinct stimulus. Thus, a consumer who learns that Nabisco's Oreo cookies taste good and therefore assumes that the company's new Oreo chocolate cones will also taste good has engaged in stimulus generalization highly differentiated from the scandalized brand. Summary of learning theories. Theories of learning help us understand how consumers learn across a variety of situations. We have examined 5 specific learning theories: classical conditioning, operant conditioning, iconic rote learning, vicarious learning or modeling, and analytical reasoning. Each of these learning theories can operate in a high or a low involvement situation, although some are more common in one type of situation than another.
Learning, memory, and retrieval. Sometime after the company moved away from advertisement and marketing, it became clear that people would quickly forget about our products if we didn't support them in the marketplace. These examples emphasize that marketers want consumers to learn and remember positive features, feelings, and behaviors associated with their brands. However, consumers forget. Strength of learning refers to how well information is retained and recalled over time. To ensure a long-lasting learned response, such as minimizing age, risk, or remembering key feature of a product, several factors can enhance strength of learning: importance, message, involvement, mood, reinforcement, repetition, and dual coding. These factors help strengthen the connections between nodes of information, making it more likely that relevant information will be retrieved when needed. The importance refers to the value that consumers place on the information to be learned. Importance might be driven by inherent interest in the product or brand, or might be driven by the need to make a decision in the near future. The more important it is for the individual to learn a particular behavior or piece of information, the more effective and efficient he or she becomes in the learning process. Message involvement. Message involvement is a degree to which the consumer is interested in the message itself. The greater the message involvement, the greater the learning and retrieval. Mood is the temporary mental state or feeling of the consumer. Learning and memory appear to be greater in a positive mood conditions. Repetition refers to the number of times that we are exposed to the information or that we engage in a behavior. Repetition increases learning and memory but can also lead to wear out. Dual coding involves creating multiple complementary pathways to a concept in a long-term memory. Dual coding increases learning and retrieval. Memory interference occurs when consumers have difficulty retrieving a specific piece of information because other related information and memory gets in the way. A common form of memory interference is due to competitive advertising. This effect is referred to as memory interference. Competitive advertising interference increases as the number of competing ads within the same product category increases and as the similarity of those ads to each other increases. Given the high levels of advertising clutter, it should not be surprising that this is an area of concern for marketers and advertisers. A common form of memory interference is due to competitive advertising. Competitive interference increases with increased advertising clutter, but it can be reduced by avoiding competitive clutter, strengthening learning, reducing similarity to competitor ads, and providing retrieval cues. Response to environment. Retrieval is influenced by how similar the retrieval environment is to the original learning environment and type of learning. Effective retrievals more likely if the retrieval situation offers cues similar to those present during learning. One strategy is to make the retrieval environment resemble the original learning environment, as seen with the gut milk and life cereal. Another strategy is to make the learning environment resemble the likely retrieval environment. For example, if a chewing gum brand expects a retrieval in retail stores, pairing the package with pleasant music during learning can condition a positive response, making it more likely that seeing the package in store will elicit the learned response. Brand image and product positioning. Brand image refers to the schematic memory of a brand, encompassing the target market's view of the product attributes, benefits, usage situations, users, and manufacturer or marketer characteristics. It reflects what people think and feel about a brand when they hear or see its name. Similar concepts apply to company and store images. Branding is becoming important even for traditionally unbranded products like water, apples, and meat. For instance, in the meat industry, Addressing consumer concerns about the time and expertise needed to prepare meat has become crucial. The product positioning involves a marketer's decisions to create a defined brand image related to competitors within a market segment. It aims for the target market to think and feel a certain way about a brand compared to others. Positioning affects long-term brand success by differentiating the brand in meaningful ways. A brand that does not differentiate itself struggles to attract consumers' interest and sales. Product position often refers to a brand image related competitors, while brand image is about the brand's characteristics without direct comparison. A product repositioning occurs as consumers' needs, competitor actions, and brand changes evolve. For instance, Volvo has introduced new models for younger, less affluent consumers, leading to confusion about whether its cars are luxury vehicles. Their average prices in the brand's target, the unclear Volvo image suggests a need for a new strategies to reposition the brand. Repositioning involves significantly altering how the market views a product, including its performance, emotional appeal, usage, situations, or target audience. Brand equity and brand leverages. Brand equity is the value consumers assign to a brand beyond its functional characteristics. For instance, people often pay for more Bayer aspirin than for store brands despite identical chemical properties. Brand equity is closely linked to the brand's reputation, with economic value implied with the term equity. Brands with strong reputations can achieve higher market share, reduce price sensitivity, and better marketing efficiency. Brand equity stems from a brand repositions where superior performance, excitement, and social values can lead consumers to pay a premium, seek out the brand, recommend it, or forget flaws, benefiting the brand's market presence.
Chapter 10. Motivation, Personality, and Emotion. The nature of motivation. Motivation is the reason for the behavior of unobservable inner force with a stimulate and accompanies behavioral response. It is often used to interchangeably with the need as to influence what consumers perceive as the relevant in their feelings and emotion. Various motivation underlie consumer behavior with a Maslow need hierarchy, being macro theory and Curies work using detailed set of motives to account for specific aspect of consumer behavior. Maslow hierarchy of needs. Maslow hierarchy of needs is based on four premises. Number 1. All humans acquire a similar set of motives through genetic endowment and social interaction. Number 2. Some motives are more basic or critical than others, like psychological, safety, belongingness, esteem, and self-actualization. Number 3. The more basic motives must be satisfied to a minimum level before the other motives are active. Number 4. As the basis of motives become satisfied, more advanced motives come into play. The motivation theory and the marketing strategy. Classico and Newman's own spaghetti sauces are popular among upscale adults. Driven the indulgence in the Romans, while Newman's own buyers show ambition and individuality, these brands recorded distinct marketing and advertising programs to satisfy the different motives. Consumer by motive satisfaction or problem solution, not the product's manager must identify these motives and develop a marketing mixes. While the marketers rarely create needs, they do create demand, which is willingness to buy a product or service. Caused by a need or motive play a crucial role in consumer behavior and marketing strategy. Discovering purchase motives. When the marketing research asks a consumer why they wear J. Crew clothes, they may offer a various reasons, such as style, trends, or appearance. However, they may also be hesitant to admit to be aware of other motives, such as showing money, sexual attractiveness, or trendiness. These manifest motives, which is known as freely admitted, are more likely to be a manifest than those in conflict. Strategies based on multiple motives. A manager must design a marketing strategy based on the combination of motives influencing the target market. This involves a product design and marketing communication. The communication strategy should be considered importance of the multiple motives, whether they are manifest or latent. For example, J. Crew's website is dual appeal approach by providing direct visual evidence of the product and indirect evidence of wealth and sophistication. The campaign should be cover all the important purchase of the motives when the target market positioning the product, systematic memory of the target market, a manner that corresponds with the target market's motive with the latent motives for purchasing the product, consumer insight by 1 to 10 to 1 highlights in the various motives. People have a for shopping with some having one basis motives and the other having numerous. Engagement in the consumer involvement. Involvement is crucial for the consumer and it influences their information processing, learning, attitudes, and purchase decision. It is influenced by needs, situation, and the consumer level of involvement. High involvement consumer are more likely to be the product expert, while the low involvement consumer are more perceived by image, emotion, and message of the sources. Marketers can use a various strategies to influence consumer involvement, such as targeting the high involvement consumer in detailed product information ads or using image and emotionally approach in general interest magazines. Marketing strategies based on motivation conflict. With the many motives, consumers may be in frequent conflicts between motives. Resolution of a motivational conflict often affects the consumption patterns in many assistants that marketer can analyze the situation that are more likely to result in motivational conflict, provide a solution to the conflict. Thus, the encouraged purchase of their brand will address the 3 types of motivation conflict. Next, the approach motivational conflict. Consumer face approach conflict when choosing between 2 attractive alternatives. The greater the conflicts, the more equal the attractiveness of resolving. This can be achieved through timely ads or price modification, allowing both alternatives to be selected. Number 2. Approach avoidance motivational conflict. Neutrogenous instant bronze sunless tanner addresses the approach avoidance conflict for consumers who want to be tan but don't want a risk skin damage and health risk associated by the extent sun exposure. This solution allowed the aesthetic and the social benefit without risk of skin cancer. Avoidance motivational conflict. Avoidance conflict arises when the choices involve undesirable outcomes. For example, the consumer may avoid spending money on the next washing machine or repair it. Credit availability can reduce this conflict. Advertisers can also use this kind of conflict. Marketing strategies based on regulatory focus. Consumers are strategic in behaviors to achieve the desired outcomes influenced by the personality traits and motives. True prominent motives are promotion, prevention, and promotion-focused motives. Focus on growth and development, while the prevention focus on motives that are related to safety and security. Regulatory focus theory suggests that the consumers react differently depending on the most salient motives. When the promotion-focused motives are more silent, consumers are more risk-seeking and seek maximizing positive outcomes. Conversely, when the prevention-focused motives are more silent, consumers are more cautious and risk adverse by both motives and resides in each person stimulationally but chronic accessibility leads to one dominant in each person. This has an implication of the marketers and the market segmentations as the promotion-focused individuals tend to have more independent self-concepts, while the prevention-focused individuals have more interdependent self-concepts. This difference relates to the global differences across Western and Eastern culture. Marketers in Asia should adapt their strategic accordingly, consider factor decision, characteristic, and environment. I think achieving the promotion versus avoidance prevention. Message frame. Benefits to be gained promotion versus losses to avoid prevention. Advertising context, ad placement in shows, magazine, or websites that are likely to intellect a promotion focus. Example of magazine which is focuses on ideas and inspiration versus to those who likely to listen in prevention focus. The evening news which tends to focus on the negative events. Personality is an individual characteristic response tendencies across the similar situation, guiding behaviors to accomplish goals. Trait theories which examine a personality as an individual difference are useful in marketing context. They assume that the individual have internal characteristics related to action tendencies and that there are consistent measurable differences between individuals. Most trait theories state that the traits are inherited or formed at an early age and are relativity and changing over years. Differences between personality traits center on which traits are most important. Multi-trait personality theories, particular with the 5-factor model, identify the 5 basic traits formed by genetics and early learning that interact and manifest behaviors triggered by the situation. This theory is commonly used by marketers to understand the bargaining, complaining behaviors, and compulsive shopping. It provides broad pictures of determinants of behavior, offering insight for the training those dealing with the consumer complaints and consciousness individual. The 5-factor model of personality is extroversion, instability, agreeableness, openness to experience, and consequentiousness. Single trait theories focuses on the single personality traits relevant to such as behaviors such as vanity, trait of anxiety, sensation seeking, compulsive by materialism, affective intensity, and self-monitoring. They also examine the 3 additional traits highlighted by the strong relationship between motivation and personality, often indicating the motivational aspect. Consumer ethnocentrism is an individual preference for the domestic product over the foreign ones. Low ethnocentrism individuals are more open to the other culture, while high ethnocentrism individuals are more conservative. Lexington Monitor is promoting It's Made in America line to appeal to be a pro-American sentiments. Need for cognition, or NFC, is individual preference for the thinking of high NFC individual processing the persuasive, fully preferring verbal information over visual, and less influenced by other opinions, impacting the marketing, communication, and media targeting. Consumer need for the uniqueness reflects an individual differences and consumer propensity to pursue a differentness relative to others through the acquisition and utilization and disposition of the consumer goods. 48 affects what consumer own and value, why they own it, how they use it, and the concept fits with the increasingly common marketing practice of deliberate scarcity, producing less of an item that predicted demand. Such as strategy helps preserve a uniqueness of the product and enhance the distinctiveness and the status of those who own it. The choice of personality in marketing practice. The choice of personality in marketing practice is a powerful tool for creating more personalized, engaged, and effective marketing strategies. By understanding and leveraging the consumer and brand personality, marketers can build stronger relationships with their audience and achieve better business outcomes. Communicating brand personality. Communicating brand personality involves conveying the distinct character traits of a brand to its target audience through various elements like messaging, visuals, and interactions. This process helps establish a clear identity for the brand, making it relatable and memorable to consumers. Emotion. Emotion refers to a mental state that encompasses feelings, thoughts, physiological change, and behaviors. It's often categorized into basic emotion like joy, sadness, fear, and anger. Emotions play a crucial role in human experiences by influencing how we respond to situations, communicate with others, and make decisions. They can also impact our physical health and overall well-being. Types of emotions. First, basic emotions. These are fundamental emotions that are universally experienced. 2. Happiness. Feelings of joy, pleasure, or contentment. 3. Sadness. Feelings of sorrow or disappointment. 4. Fear. Feelings of apprehension or concern about potential danger. 5. Anger. Feelings of frustration or hostility in response to perceived injustice. Emotion reduction as a product and retail benefit. Emotion reduction in a retail context focuses on minimizing stress and anxiety for customers, creating a smoother and more comfortable shopping experience. Techniques for dashing emotion like stress or frustrations and retail might include streamlined checkout process, wherein intuitive store layout helpful and knowledgeable staff, and a focus on providing a seamless customer journey. Consumer coping and product and service encounters. Consumer coping in product and service encounters involves the strategies and mechanisms customers use to handle and manage their experiences with product or service, especially when things don't go as planned. Effective coping strategies can significantly impact customer satisfaction and loyalty. Emotional and advertising. It is a marketing technique that aims to create a solid emotional connection between the audience and the advertised product, brand, or message. Emotions and marketing strategy. Emotion and marketing strategy refers to the use of emotional triggers and connection to influence consumer behavior and drive business goals. By understanding and leveraging emotions, marketers can create more compelling message, strengthen their brand, and drive consumer action. Emotion arousal as a product and retail benefit. Emotion arousal in retail is a powerful strategy used to enhance consumer experience and drive sales.
By creating emotional response, retailer can increase engagement and foster a stronger connection between the customer and the brand. Retailer can use various techniques to evoke emotions, including storytelling, immersive experiences, and personalized interactions. Balancing emotional arousal with practical consideration helps create a compelling and effective retail environment.